Good morning, year three. I hope you're well and having a good week so far. We're coming to the end of our maths for the week now. And as part of this, what we're going to think about in the main video is how we use our 8 times table. So I know lots of you have been making those links between 2 and 4 and how they link together. And then lots of you have been linking your knowledge of the 4 times table to your knowledge of the 8s. So these links are really, really important in maths. I know Miss Ashford's been really pleased with lots of people sending work in, but Ray, I've heard your name a lot, Leah, Dominic, Isaac, Maggie, and Mia. And guys, if I'm saying your names at all wrong, I'm sorry, just because I don't normally teach you year threes. I might get your names wrong when I say them. When you see me next, you can tell me how to say them. And if I already know your name because you've done so well, then if you're in my class in the future, that's great to have on my head that I'll know your name as somebody who works really hard. So thank you for all those people who've been sending your work in, guys. As I say, the main part of our session today is going to be looking at the 8 times table, where somebody else will be doing that video. For this part of the session, though, we're going to think a little bit more about our work on sorting 3D shapes. So we're going to recall our information about how we use 3D shapes. So we're going to look at different aspects of this. And if you want to make notes on your pad or on on a whiteboard or anything like that, you can do. So any way you want to make notes when you're solving these questions is fine. Okay. So we've got here 4 shapes: a blue one, a kind of greeny one, a yellow one, and a purple one. I want you to see if you could think about giving them a number. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What's the name for each one of those? So pause the video while you try and do that, please. Lots of you spotting that first one is not a cube, but a cuboid. The second one, the tennis ball, is a sphere. The third one is that triangular based pyramid. So rather than being a square based pyramid with 5 faces, the triangular based pyramid will have 4 faces because it's got the triangle at the bottom and then the 3 faces lifted up from there. And then finally, we've got our 2-faced cone. Okay. So those are the faces, the names of those 3D shapes. The next section here, we're going to look at which of these are pyramids, which of these are cylinders, and which of these are cuboids. Okay, so we've got 5 shapes: A, B, C, D, and E. I'm not completely convinced what C is supposed to be, some kind of paperweight maybe. But have a look at those 5 shapes. Which ones do you think are pyramids? Which ones do you think are cuboids, cylinders, and the other shapes? So have a go at that one now, please. Okay, super job if you've managed to do this. Lots of you will have spotted that C is a pyramid and that both A and E are cuboids, sorry. I think the trickiest is probably D because we're not used to cylinders looking anything other than the representation that B shows us. So you will see around your house lots of cylinders, tins, things like that. You'll see them a lot of the time. If you're lucky enough to ever have some Pringles, they come in a cylinder. Okay, so we've got our cylinders there. Okay, guys, well done for listening to those elements. We'll think now about the features, the elements of a shape that we've got. So we've got some 3D shapes here, and within those 3D shapes, some of them have fewer than 5 faces, and some of them have more than 5 faces. So remember, we've got a face, so it's not a 2D shape which has a face, but a 3D shape. And which of these has more than, and which has these has fewer than? So have a look at the shapes, the triangular base pyramid, the cylinder. Is that going to be more than or fewer than? And will the cube and the cuboid be more than or fewer than 5 faces? Pause it while you work it through, please. I'm sure you've had a really good go at that one, Ray. Have you spotted any of these shapes around your house? Has anybody managed to spot a triangular based pyramid at home yet? I'd love to see a photo of you if you have. Okay, and now we can see that we've got fewer than 5 faces for that triangular base pyramid. So that's our green shape. And our kind of lilac-y cylinder has just those 3 faces: the one curved edge, curved surface, and the 2 flat faces. Then we've got our more than 5 faces. So our cube has 6 faces, and our cuboid, our purple shape, has 6 faces as well. So we've got those 2 shapes with more than 5 faces. Moving through then onto our sorting activity. So this type of diagram where the 2 circles overlap is called a Venn diagram. Now, in the middle where the 2 bits are overlapping a feature can be for both the types. So we've got the odd number of faces and surfaces, and then an even number of edges. Now remember, faces are the parts that don't that, for example, with a cube, we have 6 faces. Okay, so a square has 4 sides, and a cube has 6 faces. Okay, now edges are the points where the faces meet. So where a face meets, that's an edge. Okay, so looking at our shapes, letter A is a cylinder. Then we've got a cuboid, a cube for B, a sphere for C, a triangular prism for D. E is really tricky. It's really light, guys, but if you look really hard, really squint, you might be able to see that it's a little cuboid. And finally, we've got a type of pyramid for F. Okay, see if you can identify the number of faces and the number of edges and then put them in the right space. Try and draw a Venn diagram if you can. So pause this whilst you do that, please. Okay, guys, lots of you had a go at this. Well done if you have. Looking through our sphere and our triangular prism, both of those have odd numbers of faces or surfaces. So our sphere has 1 surface, and our triangular prism has 2 triangles and then 3 other faces, so 5 faces. Now, A, our cylinder, has 3 surfaces and faces, so 2 faces and 1 surface. And F has, I think, 5 faces. So that's an odd number of faces or surfaces. But if we look at A, it's also got only 2 points. So where the circles both meet, the curved edge, and for F, it has just I think 4 points where the faces meet each other and therefore are edges. For our cuboid, we have 8 edges, and for our as I say, our cube, that also has 8 edges. Okay, so we look at those number of edges. Have I said that wrong, guys? I think I have, haven't I? I think it's 12 edges, isn't it? So I'm going to have to double check. We're going to see, because a book is a little bit like, what is it, in fact, a cube. So I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I can see 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I can see 9, 10, 11, 12. Silly Mr. Spring. It's not 8 edges, it's 12 edges on a cuboid or a cube. Okay, so both of them have 12 edges. I'm sorry I made that mistake. And thank you very much, because I know Dominic will have been shouting, Mr. Spring, it's 12, not 8. You silly old sausage, Mr. Spring. So well done if you managed to sort that out. Nico's been what I've been doing, and he might have got a bit mixed up, or he might be correct. So have a look at Chico. He's looked at the number of edges, whether these are even edges and whether the number of vertices, so the points where the edges meet, whether they're even or not. Okay, see if he's correct or not. Pause the video while you think, is he right or not? Be a clue now. He's wrong, so he's incorrect. He's wrong. Why is he wrong? Can you figure out why? If you want to, write your answer down. If not, if you just want to tell somebody who's there why he's right or wrong, or have it in your head and have a little conversation with your friend who might be imaginary, that's fine. Okay, so Chico, looking at that red cuboid, that green square-based pyramid, that yellow cuboid, and that blue triangular-based pyramid, are they in the correct spaces? No, they're not, because the cuboid and the triangular-based pyramid should be in the middle point, intersection, as they both have an even number of edges and vertices. So if you think of a triangular-based pyramid, it has 4 faces, and it also has 6 edges, and it has 4 vertices. So the edges meet at 4 points. We've said earlier that a cuboid has 12 edges. Now those edges meet at 8 points, so it has 8 vertices. So it should be in that middle point where it's both even number of edges and even number of vertices. Don't worry too much if you found that a bit tricky, but do keep looking for shapes. Keep going on a shape hunt. Can you spot a sphere? Can you spot a cube? Can you spot any cylinders around the house? Keep looking, keep going on that shape hunt whenever you get the chance. Right, guys, next little chart. Can you sort these into 2 groups? So we've got a yellow triangular-based pyramid. We've got a purple cuboid. We've got a yellow cuboid. We've got a pink cone, hopefully with some ice cream in. We've got an orange cuboid, and then we've got a square-based pyramid, which is purple. So could you sort these into two groups? Anybody got a good idea? Have a think. Now, I might not see your answers, but there's lots of different answers that could work. Some of you might have spotted that some of them have triangular faces, some don't have triangular faces. Some of you might have sorted them into odd number of faces or even number of faces, or odd number of edges or even number of edges. Some of you might have sorted them into odd number of vertices or even number of vertices. Or if you weren't being very mathematical and you were being a bit simple, you could, in terms of just your answer, you could have said yellow ones and ones that aren't yellow. So I'm interested to see if you've sorted them in any innovative ways. Maybe at home, you could do a bit of a shape sorting activity where all the shapes you can find, 3D shapes, you could sort them into two piles, and you could take a photo of those two piles and send them to Mr. Day, Miss Ashford, and Mrs. Hand. It'd be great to see those guys. Thank you very much for listening. Have a look now at these couple of worksheets. Pause whilst you look at this first one, please, and try and solve 5A, 5B, 6A, and 6B. Okay, looking at these then, we can see that we've got to do some sorting for 5A and 5B. So if we see the number of edges for 5A and the number of vertices for 5B. Then for 6A and 6B, we've also got to do some sorting using that Venn diagram, and we can see where they've gone. Pause whilst you check your answers are correct or not. If you got those correct, well done. Have a go at the next sheet. If you didn't, keep looking for some shapes at home. Okay, and here we got to sort into prisms, cuboids, and cylinders, and then we've got to look at the surfaces for the second sections. Pause while you have a go at those, please. Lots of you spotting as you go through these the correct answers. Well done if you have. You spotted that the prisms are B and E, the cuboids C and D. That cereal box being a cuboid, and then there's just single cylinder, which I think is either a sausage roll or a Swiss roll. Either way, it's tasty. We've got spheres as B and E, cubes as A and C, and pyramids as D and 7B. And then you can see the correct sorting for 8A and 8B. Well done if you've had a go at those. Thank you for engaging with that. Final little job today then will be to have a look at your worksheet, which is to do with the 8 times table. So looking at your other video. After you've watched this other video, I'd like you to think, particularly when you're doing this, when it says talk about it with a partner, unless you're very lucky and have a twin brother or sister at home, you won't have somebody from your class at home. So could you tell somebody at home, what do you notice when you've sorted those numbers out? So that sorting diagram is like the one we've done for shape. See what you can spot about that. Thank you very much, and think about this one. When you unpick the question, how are you going to do it? Are you going to use a bar model like we've been looking at earlier in the week? Or are you going to draw pictures or use a number line? I look forward to seeing your approaches. Guys, thank you very much for listening. When you send your work in, I'm really excited to see the work you sent through. See you later, year 3. Bye-bye.